Today on Guess What I Found Out, we're diving into the bizarre and fascinating world of the human body. Buckle up, Curious George, because you're about to discover some facts that might just make you question your own existence. Let's kick things off with your stomach. Think you can handle a Thanksgiving feast? Well, your stomach can hold up to half a gallon of liquids. That's an entire large bottle of soda. As for solid food, it's a bit trickier to measure since your teeth do most of the pre-processing. So, while a whole turkey might be ambitious, a decent-sized chicken could probably fit. Now, if I asked you to point to your stomach, you'd probably gesture towards your belly. Sorry to burst your bubble, but it's actually tucked up higher, nestled between your ribs. Next time you're showing off your anatomy knowledge, try aiming a bit north. Ever wondered about your appendix? Spoiler alert. Scientists believe it's on the evolutionary chopping block. Some researchers suggest it once helped our ancestors digest tree bark. Since bark isn't exactly a staple in our diets anymore, the appendix has become about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. Speaking of obsolete body parts, let's talk about wisdom teeth. They were handy for our ancestors who might lose a tooth or two. Nowadays, they mostly help us lose money on dental extractions. Evolution sure has a sense of humor. Here's a hairy situation. Almost your entire body is covered in hair, even if you don't notice it. Yes, even your belly button has its own little forest, primarily to catch lint. Go ahead, check it out. I'll wait. Your liver is like your personal bouncer, protecting you from toxins and other unsavory characters trying to crash your body's party. It's also pretty resilient and can regenerate itself. So, while you might not be Wolverine, your liver's doing its best impression. Feeling outnumbered? Over 50% of the cells in your body belong to tiny creatures, mainly hanging out in your gut. So technically there are more of them than you. Sweet dreams. Ever notice how your sense of smell takes a vacation when you sleep? Your nose basically goes off duty at night, so you wouldn't even notice if your room smelled like a gym locker. No comment. Speaking of your nose, it's the unsung hero of your senses. About 80% of what you taste is thanks to your nose's ability to detect odors. Hold your nose while eating, and that onion might just taste like a bland apple. Scientists once thought we could distinguish about 10,000 smells. Turns out we can actually detect over 1 trillion. So next time someone tells you to stop and smell the roses, remind them you're capable of appreciating a whole lot more than that. Your brain is like that overworked employee who never gets a break. Even when you're sleeping, it's processing information like there's no tomorrow. As you age, your brain gradually shrinks, starting around age 40. By the time you're 75, it's much smaller than it was at 30. But don't worry, size isn't everything. Your mental strength remains unaffected, so keep doing those crossword puzzles. Short-term memory is like a chalkboard. You can jot down some information, but eventually you run out of space. That's why remembering phone numbers can be a Herculean task. Our strongest, most emotional memories? Often fake. Your brain likes to fill in the gaps, making up details as it sees fit. Not only does your brain shrink with age, but you do too. Bones become more brittle and your spine compresses. Fun fact, you wake up taller in the morning than you are at the end of the day. Gravity's a real downer. Among mammals, only humans walk on 2 legs for their entire lives. Think kangaroos and gorillas do the same? Think again. Kangaroos use their tails as a 3rd leg, and gorillas rely on their long arms for balance. We're the true bipeds, for better or worse. Your bones aren't just structural support. They play a role in metabolism too. Made mostly of calcium, they release it into the bloodstream when levels are low and store it when there's an excess. The only bone with a sense of humor, the one in your upper arm. That's why it's called the humerus. Okay, I made that one up. Moving along. The smallest bones in your body are in your ears, collectively known as the ossicular chain. The tiniest of them all, the stapes, is no larger than a grain of rice. Our height, body shape and skin color depend a lot on where our ancestors lived, but we can adapt to new conditions even within our own lifespan. Our lifespan is programmed within our cells. They constantly renew and divide, but have an internal timer that stops at some point. On average, cells cease dividing when we reach the age of 100. Body fat isn't just a nuisance, it acts as insulation, energy reserve and shock absorber. Heads up, your skull isn't a single bone. It's actually made up of 28 different bones, many fused together to protect your brain. The mandible, or lower jaw, is the only skull bone not fixed to the others, allowing you to chat, chew and chomp to your heart's content. The strongest muscles in your body aren't in your arms or legs, they're in your head. The masseter muscle, responsible for chewing, needs to be the strongest for you to eat normally. Your eyelids are controlled by the fastest muscles in your body. They can shut in less than 1/10 of a second, protecting your eyes from potential threats. Blink and you'll miss it, literally. Some people have double-jointed thumbs, allowing them to bend backward in a way that looks both impressive and slightly unsettling. We recognize colors through combinations of purple, blue, green, yellow and yellow-red. While it's impossible to calculate exactly how many combinations the human eye can see, it's estimated to be around 1 million. So, when someone tells you to see the world in a new light, remind them you've got 1 million shades to choose from. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the quirks of the human body, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content